Hi guys, Devon2XYZ, and back for more gameplay. So this time around, decided to go for the good old classic Resistance: Fall of Man. I think it was like one of the launch titles for the PS3, and I guess really got an interesting story with that one. Yeah, when I first got my PS3, at the time, I was kind of debating on this game and Tony Hawk's Project 8. And I don't know, I was leaning more towards the new Tony Hawk game at the time. Granted, my dad, on the other hand, he actually thought the Resistance game looked pretty decent. Of course, this was back then when I guess my dad was kind of somewhat into gaming, not extremely, but so anyway, I decided to lean more towards the Tony Hawk game, and it was like shortly a month afterwards, though. I guess one of my dad's friends had an extra copy of Resistance, and so he gave it to my dad, and my dad gave it to me, thinking I would actually like it. Actually, I'm kind of glad I took up on that offer, because I would say probably the Resistance series altogether is a pretty good series. Definitely worth playing, in my opinion. But that being said, though, I am going to be going through at least the main games, 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure about Retribution or Burning Skies. I'm not really sure how I'll be able to even stream that one. Most likely I'll probably be skipping those. But I decided to go for this. I don't know if there's anything here to do. Keep subtitles on, effects, volume. Yeah, okay. I think everything is set to default, actually. I don't think I really changed anything from last time. Granted, I hadn't played this game in about maybe 5 years, so been quite some time. Let's just say that. Especially getting used to the controls again. I forgot this also uses the 6-axis capabilities. Granted, I am using a DualShock 3 for this. Alright, yeah, so whole idea here is I'm going to be going through a campaign, which I've completed the campaign 7 times so far. Granted, I would say maybe more. Yeah, I would say actually more, because before I had an old PS3, like the old fat PS3s. I think I must have beaten the game like 2 or 3 more times before that. Fortunately, I didn't make any backup saves for those, unfortunately, so I had to kind of redo everything from scratch when I got my replacement PS3. So I guess technically this would be considered a New Game Plus, if you want to go with that. Easy, medium, hard. I've not done Superhuman in such a long time. Well, Superhuman, huh? I don't know. It's kind of crazy hard. Let's just say that. I don't know if it's worth me trying. I'm not really. I don't want to pull my hair out trying to complete this game. I kind of want to make this as a casual playthrough, really. So I think really, for all intents and purposes, I'm just gonna stick to medium difficulty and just work from there.
The Chimeran threat began in Russia. The origin of the virus is unknown, but its effects were devastating and swift. In the 1930s, reports of biological experiments began leaking out of Russia. Then reports of villages destroyed overnight. Then entire cities. We feared the Russians had developed a weapon of unparalleled power. The truth was far worse. The Chimera stayed sealed within Russia for over a decade. Then, in 1949, they launched an attack that overwhelmed all of Europe in a matter of weeks. For several months we thought England was safe. But in October of 1950, the Chimera burrowed under the Channel. We had prepared for them, but in 3 months' time, the war was lost. We abandoned the cities to the Chimera and retreated to scattered military bases and outposts. The Chimera had won. On July the 11th, 1951, the Americans launched an assault on the eastern coast of England. On the second wave of that assault was a sergeant named Nathan Hale. The actions of that soldier have become a matter of both scrutiny and myth. What follows are the known events of his life, from July 11th to July the 14th, the day he was last seen. Soldiers had no idea what they would soon be facing. The US government had sealed its borders in 1950. Radio waves and newspapers became state property. Only the highest levels of their government knew the truth. The operation was an exchange. The Americans were bringing supplies and tanks into York. We were giving them our one secret weapon, something we could offer that they couldn't build themselves. I was the commander of the convoy team that was to meet the US soldiers. We were ambushed in Manchester on the way to the rendezvous. There was no way to warn the Americans. They were on their own in York, fighting an enemy they knew nothing about. We never learnt exactly what happened there. All we know is that Nathan Hale was the sole survivor.
No! No! No!
Right. Chapter 1, The Gauntlet. I guess technically mission 1. The game is broken into chapters with missions intersecting the chapters. Yeah. Alright. So, I mean, for, I guess to shorten this up, essentially right now, it's like an alternate World War II where a deadly virus that turns humans into these monstrosities known as Chimera has broken out, and it's pretty much taken out most of Europe essentially. And as much as Europe tries to fight against the Chimera, like the Chimeran virus and the Chimeran forces, yeah, things are becoming pretty grim to the point where they had to have the Americans help them out. Of course, the Americans don't know too much about the virus themselves, or the Chimeran, for that matter. So, I mean, mostly in this game, we're just following a soldier known as Nathan Hale. Pretty much a nobody in this game, but he does become more important throughout the series. Of course, kind of also leading to more of these supplementary materials, but that's kind of more leaning towards. That's quite more related towards Resistance 2 than anything else. Just at this point, we're just playing it as a normal American soldier known as Nathan Hale. I had the subtitles on. Or did I accidentally turn them off? Oh, they're on. Oh. It was just in regular cutscenes. Whatever. Actually, documents. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so with the documents, you can actually go through different locations, which here just would technically be the chapters. The actual chapters of the game itself. Yeah, 11 chapters. Okay. I got different weapons here that you're gonna be finding. Again, this is a new game plus, so I have everything pretty much unlocked. You got the different chimeras, vehicles you're gonna be using, intelligence. Well, the intelligence. There's also intel defined in the game as well. I mean, for the most part, it doesn't really affect anything in the game. Of course, there are skill points. Yeah, so the whole thing with skill points is this was before the trophy system for PlayStation, so this was kind of the closest thing. But in each, you got like general challenges that you can complete, and of course you got also chapter specific challenges as well. Some of them were more challenging than others. Let's just say that. But if you manage to complete the challenge, then you get points, and the points here were just used for certain rewards. You can unlock concept art. Yeah, you get your concept art. You get the behind the scenes, which again is strange because you had to technically go through here in order to look through all that stuff. I think. You can flip the levels horizontally if you want. It's weird. I've played through the entire game doing that. It's just a little bit weird. You can have the Clank backpacks, from the series Ratchet and Clank, because this is an Insomniac game after all. And if you manage to max out on all the points, you'll get the skeleton skin for online multiplayer, special skin. Which was pretty unique, pretty cool. Unfortunately, the online servers have long been dead, so I won't be able to show any online multiplayer. Granted, they still have split screen if you care for that, but you can't use any of these skins in split screen multiplayer, unfortunately. And you know what? Thinking about it too, I think you were only able to even customize the humans, never the Chimera. I found it strange. Alright, but maybe we'll save that discussion for another time. Get back to the action. I might need to work on my sensitivity a little bit here. Ooh, that's a little bit floaty. Kind of a... I don't know if it's a TV or maybe it's just the game itself, honestly. Sensitivity. Or a 5. It won't go from 0 to 9. I'm gonna try a 5. I mean, in Call of Duty, I play at a 9 out of 20. So maybe 5 out of 9 should be close to it. But I don't know. In general, it's a little bit awkward because it doesn't. It's a little bit awkward because it doesn't quite. Yeah, I got so used to the higher sensitivities I've been trying out in Call of Duty. It's kind of weird to go back to this. Yeah, granted, I probably should test this out before live streaming this. Sorry. I'm just trying to get a feel for it here. Granted, it's like a little bit of a slight delay. Again, I don't know if it's the TV or it's just the game itself. It has like a somewhat sticky aim to it. I don't know. This might be something I just got to get used to again, unfortunately. I'm going to stick with a 5. I don't want to overshoot it. Alright. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Yeah, so, control-wise... Okay, so I got primary fire on R1, weapon select is R2, crouching is L2, alternate fire, yeah, most of these guns have alternate fire, which is kind of unique. You got grenade, next grenade, previous grenade, up and down, find partner, that was mostly if we were doing co-op. I tried co-op. Unfortunately, I never finished it, but I've tried co-op. Not too bad. Get your spotlight, which is basically the flashlight. Grenades is just circle, which is kind of odd. Yeah, you can't even cook them; you just throw them. Action is the action melee or triangles. Squares reload. X to jump. Look. Okay. Voice chat is L3. That's for online multiplayer. Got the toggles, the R3. Alright. Yes. That's kind of what I find strange about this game. There is no actual aiming down the sight per se. You can just zoom in. Just toggle zoom in. It doesn't make your weapon any more accurate, unfortunately. All it does is just allows you to zoom in and see further up ahead. But, I mean, your accuracy is still the same as just regular hip firing. I mean, it's kind of odd. It's probably one of the few games where it's like that, where you're mostly just going to be hip firing. The M5A2 carbine. Going to be your standard weapon. Oh no. Oh my god. Okay. You know, I say weirdly the first level is actually somewhat gonna be the hardest because you, not to jump too far into it, you don't get any abilities until afterwards, but you'll see what I mean. I gotta be careful here. It's just so awkward not being able to technically aim down the sight. Oh my goodness, they're on fire. But of course, like typical Call of Duty fashion, though, if you go for headshots, they go down a lot quicker. And unfortunately, there's no sprinting in this game. No, actually, no, there is sprinting in this game, only in online. I don't know why that was the weird case. You can sprint in online, but you can't sprint in regular campaign. It's weird. Well, let me tell you this. You're going to be spending about probably 80% of the time sticking with the carbine and possibly the Chimera weapons, well, mostly the bullseye, really. You're going to be sticking with the carbine and the bullseye for about 80% of the game. And all the other weapons you get, probably going to use them for a few enemies, and that's it. Whoop. Ow, ow. Try not to get hurt here. Try not to. Get back here. Oh. Save that one for later, actually. Got the Reapers. Essentially auto-fired handguns. I mean, they're good weapons. You can actually target 2 enemies at once. And again, that was kind of a bonus weapon. That's kind of more for a New Game Plus weapon. Yeah, I mean, you had to beat the game at least once in order to get. I mean, it's a good weapon, but it eats through ammo really quickly. And finding spare ammo is pretty scarce. Oh. Almost shot my teammate. How did I not get that guy? Yeah, luckily this gun does have grenades. That was a pretty good grenade launcher. And especially in multiplayer, which was kind of a really cheap weapon. Probably second to the Lark. Melee. I can only carry up to 200 rounds total for the carbine. More Reaper rounds. They got the bullseye. Alright, so the bullseye is kind of the standard issue rifle for the Chimera. It shoots a lot faster than the carbine, although the power is a little bit weaker. But the main thing about it is the fact that you can actually use tags. I mean, it would tag the enemy, and all the bullets would actually go to the tag. Kind of almost making it like an auto-fire, auto-aim type of weapon. Of course, you can actually manually detonate the rounds too. I think you can automatically detonate it. Yeah, I mean, you could store up it. You can store the bullets in a tag like this, and then just release it all at once. Kind of somewhat creating it like a trap in a way. Gotta somewhat be careful because I am about to run low on health here. Whoa. Hey, not bad.
Sergeant Hale! Looks like your squad got it bad. Come on, let's get to the depot, double time.
Sure thing.
Captain, you seeing this? What the hell is that?
Oh, gross.
No one knows exactly how Hale was infected by the Chimeran virus. Our only clue is a journal entry recovered from the body of a US medic. It says that he encountered a number of comatose soldiers in a dry creek bed. One of the soldiers, a sergeant, suddenly woke up. Unlike the other soldiers, his body had no wounds at all. The sergeant refused any kind of medical examination, insisting on catching up to the rest of the company. If that sergeant was in fact Nathan Hale, then he remains the only known person to wake up after being infected. Whether the Chimeran virus mutated within him, or whether his body had an innate resistance to it, remains a mystery.
Innate resistance. A lone survivor. Yeah, so I guess typically when the humans get infected by the virus, they fall into a coma, or a comatose state, actually. Yeah, but somehow Hale is the only known person to survive being infected. Kind of goes to wonder if maybe his body is special in some way. I don't know.
Hey, Sarge, you alright? They told me Arrow 2 was wiped out. Come on.
Alright, so at this point, Nathan Hale is infected by the Chimeran virus. Doesn't mean he's in danger or anything, but the only unique thing, as of this game, the only thing that you need to keep in mind is with that you actually are able to regenerate health. So you do have the healing capabilities of the Chimera. So how it really works is your health is broken up into the 4 quadrants.
Where the hell are the Brits?
And if you get hit, get damaged in any way, or I guess I got to show it off. Yeah, so if you take some damage and just try not to take any more damage within a certain time frame, it would actually regenerate to the current health quadrant that you have, I guess. The health quarter that you currently have. If it falls below that a quarter, though, then it drops down a level, if you want to call it that. But besides that, though, you can also regenerate health, or regain health, actually, by using these vials that you find throughout the levels. Where? Okay. I'm almost out of ammo already. Dang. I think you get 70 in the gun and 210 in the reserve? I think that's how it was for the bullseye. I completely missed. Regenerate. Maybe I left. Alright, so yeah, I'm at full health right now. Well, technically, you only need really 3. If you're really low on health, you only need really 3 of these because they will regenerate 1 quadrant, and then you just need 3 to fully max out your health. But then again, I'm not saying you're invincible or anything, but you can be somewhat a little bit reckless. Unless you're playing on Superhuman, then I advise just not even trying. Don't play reckless at all, just play cautiously in Superhuman. I've only beaten Superhuman once, and it was not fun. I mean, at that point, I think you take like twice as much damage. I think you take twice as much damage, and I think the enemies have maybe twice as much health. Try to make our way to the bus depot here, people. Hooray. Man, look at these unpolished textures. Right, this was an early PS3 game. Damn 12 Sabretooth. Alright. I think this is really the only game you can actually ever drive vehicles. It's a little bit odd. And I guess, you know, it works better with co-op because one person can actually drive the tank, use the cannon, and the mounted side gun. Yeah, I think that was the case, and then the second player could use the machine gun on the top. Luckily, this tank has pretty good armor, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't really have to worry about it, you know, exploding anytime soon.
Baker 12 to Baker 1. We're at the depot. There's too many of them, sir. We can't take the depot without armor. Armor's on the way. You hold that, LZ. No one dies until I get there. Is that clear?
No one dies until I get there. Huh. So, is he implying that you need to wait to die? Come on. Trying to drive this tank here. It's like trying to drive a bathtub on wheels at this point. Come on. Well, that was quick. A lot of these levels are not too long.
The Americans regrouped at an abandoned bus depot in southeast York. Under the command of a Captain Winters, they staged a daring tactical offensive. The Chimera had begun to close in on their position. If the Americans could secure the site, they would have a perfect landing zone, and the battle would tip in their favor.
Yeah, so finally made it to the bus depot.
They're really dug in there, sir.
They
Spires,
must
level
know this
3.
is the prime landing zone. If we can hold it, we'll get some reinforcements of our own in here.
Yes, sir.
Machine guns are tearing us to shreds. Get out of this situation. Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Also just tried to defend the bus depot. Get him off the guns.
We got it. Yeah, that's one down.
Oh. I love how the glass can actually break. And I love how I missed the shot.
There's 2 for the good guys. 1 to go.
Sorry, I'm running 1 bullets here.
Defensive positions. Swain, run a sweep on the north and east walls. Blair, give me south and west.
Don't know why my computer's revving up right now.
We're gagging on it. Enemy contact! North wall at the water tank! Nicholson, secure that wall. Kimball, take your squad and back him up.
Not gonna save the Reapers for a little bit later. What's that? Oh, fire. Actually, speaking of which, kind of a cool thing about this. Kind of a cool thing about this, since it uses 6-axis capabilities, if you are on fire, you can actually shake the controller to put the fire out. Oh no.
Wake up, ladies! We got more company! Hustle at the fuel station! 9 o'clock! Fire them out, Ridley! Don't just stop until this square is full of the arrival and shit and spinal fluid!
taking major damage here.
And the cavalry's here. Perfect timing.
All right.
Well fought. We might just hold this little piece of heaven. Tabazzini, bring those tanks in here and scrape out a landing zone. Sir! Incoming!
We know from the craters that the Chimera ended the battle by launching spires. There is no defense against a spire attack. By the time you see them in the air, it's already too late. After impact, the spires release swarms of crawlers. Literally thousands of them can come from a single spire. Whole cities have been infected in minutes. After the crawlers have done their work, the Chimeras send in carriers to collect the dormant victims. The role of the carriers is to transport infected humans to conversion centers. It's at these locations that the Chimeran creatures are born. Hale was brought to a conversion center in the town of Grimsby. My convoy team and I were imprisoned at the same location. We had been captured uninfected, so we were put in makeshift pens until they could infect us.
Fate's worse than death. Alright, so Spire attack happens and ends up Chimera ends up capturing most of us. Granted, Hale's already infected, so he's on the strange case. Out of the way. Portion out of grenades. Ah. Get off. You can do that too, actually. If you get grabbed, you can shake the controller. But granted, that's really if you want the tilt controls on. I think if you have them off, you just need to press buttons or something.
Oi, mate! Over here! Over here! Help us! Get us the hell out of here!
Hey! Over here! The console! Shoot the console! Bloody hell! Thanks for that. I'm Parker,
Hey, Sergeant Hale, 1st Rangers.
an American. We thought the Chimera stopped all of you in York.
Chimera?
Those creatures. Oh, you jammed it. I'm sorry, Hale. Looks like you'll have to find your own way out. I'll be in touch. Frequency 77.6. It was strange enough that a lone American soldier was walking around a Chimeran conversion center. But it was his eyes that were most disturbing. They showed unmistakable Chimeran traits. It was subtle, but it was there. Whoever Nathan Hale was, he wasn't entirely human.
Well, yeah, so the person who's actually narrating this entire story here, Rachel Parker, kind of the a captain. Ow. Not again. Get off. I love how they just like to camp out in empty rooms. Back off. Like I said, about 80% of the game you're going to be just mostly using the carbine and the bullseye. They're nearby, I can hear it.
Hale, I want you to keep your eyes peeled. We need to learn all we can about this place.
Oof, mines. The Rossmore 236. Yeah, sadly, you only get up to 24 rounds of this shotgun. It's pretty low, but pretty useful shotgun. It can do a single barrel, and if you use the alternate fire, it would do a double barrel shot. Obviously, the double barrel taking up more shells. Close one. Okay. Running a little low on health here.
The conversion center was built on top of an old fish cannery. Networks of tubes transported the bodies from one stage of conversion to another. Once humans are infected by the Chimeran virus, they fall into a coma. The virus begins changing their bodies from the inside out, eventually turning them into one of the Chimeran creatures. The conversion centers simply speed up the process.
Conversion. Yeah. So it's kind of odd being in a conversion center itself, though. Just saying. A little bit strange.
Sergeant Hale, come in. I'm seeing more hybrid patrols now. They must know we've escaped. Be careful.
I'll probably switch to the Reapers. Like I said, it's a good gun, but it just eats up ammo like crazy. And honestly, I wouldn't even say it's that accurate either. Granted, though, it does have a faster melee attack. Each hit, like twice as fast as a normal melee attack in general.
During the second phase of the conversion process, the humans are wrapped in cocoons. This accelerates the final stages of the conversion. What emerges from the cocoon is determined by the strain of the virus. Each Chimeran creature is created by a separate strain. What we call hybrids, the ones that most closely resemble humans, have the shortest gestation period. The more beastly creatures take months to create and are made from multiple human bodies.
Interesting to know. Some of the bigger chimeras that we are going to be facing eventually are made from multiple sets of humans. I think really it's just the idea that we're technically facing humans, just infected humans. That's kind of what the Chimera are. I find it strange. A bunch of these leapers here. Oh. The last grenade. Goody. Forgot they can also throw grenades.
The final stage of the Chimeran conversion process is known as the birthing chamber. The cocoons are opened and new Chimera are born. In the case of hybrids, a cooling apparatus is fused into their bodies. The Chimeran metabolism is roughly 12 times that of humans. This results in remarkable healing abilities, but also raises their body temperatures significantly. Without the cooling apparatus, the hybrids would overheat and die.
It's kind of good to know, actually. So, at least I kind of know what those things are on their backs to help regulate their body temperature, which kind of actually plays into a role in multiplayer, because the team that plays as the Chimera, they have an ability known as Chimeran Rage, which it made it where you were able to see through walls, and it would actually kind of, I guess, boost your metabolism in some fashion, that you will actually start running faster and doing more damage at the cost of overheating. Because if you leave the mode on too long, then your body starts to overheat, and you actually start taking damage. So you kind of have to be careful with that. Granted, even then, I still think in terms of multiplayer, you had a slight advantage playing as the Chimera. Because really, the only thing with the humans was that you're able to use a mini-map and crouch. That was the only benefit. So many birds.
I've made it out of the camp. The hybrids are on full alert. Looks like you're going to have a fight on your hands.
You can say that again. Whoa. Oh, overrun. Yeah, nice. Where's death? You know what? Thank God there's no YOLO mode or anything like that here. Oh, cheap. I hate how sometimes you don't get stunned. Kind of forgot the hedgehog grenades. Yeah, so luckily with the hedgehog grenades I think it's actually better than regular frags. I think it covers a wider radius. Yeah, more of the leapers.
Sergeant, be advised. The Chimera has set up a trap. They have sentry guns covering your only route out.
Question is, if Parker knows all this, couldn't she technically help me out of this situation? Oh, cheap. Well, in a bad spot right now.
Sergeant Hale, the transport is waiting. We can't stay much longer. Move it, Sergeant, or you'll find yourself left behind.
I'm finally out. Yeah.
I was able to make it to the surface and summon a rescue. Flying into the Chimeran territory was always dangerous, but we had to risk it. Hale made it out shortly after. I looked for any further signs of conversion. Fever, nervous movement, paranoia. There was nothing. Just the gold-colored eyes. We flew directly to Manchester. Soldiers had been trying to recover the convoy ever since my squad was ambushed. They knew what was in it. They knew it was our last hope for defeating the Chimera. I wanted to take Hale back to Northern Command for debriefing. Maybe he could sense I was suspicious of him. He joined the Manchester squad before I could say a word.
Path of least resistance. All right. That's a good greeting. Seems like a bad idea. I think I'm being a little too reckless here. Trying to play this a little bit like Rambo. Oh, God. Oh, come on. There's more leapers as well. Starting to get a little insane here. Oh, man. Whoa. Got a howler.
The convoy was stranded on the west side of Manchester. The site was guarded by stalkers, so the only route in was on foot. A radio message from Hale's squad said they were entering Manchester Cathedral. The cathedral was a field hospital during the war. It was abandoned in a hurry and still had some supplies and ammunition. Unfortunately, it was also a breeding ground for some of the lower forms of Chimera.
The cathedral. Actually, thinking about it, I don't know if I'm misremembering it, but I think there was like some controversy with this mission because of the fact that we're in a cathedral killing things, something like that. I could have sworn there was some kind of controversy with this level in the game. Maybe because of the fact that it was like this cathedral is well known. Too many. Oh god. We're almost reaching serious Sam levels of madness. Oh, let's get their weapon, the auger. Kind of a pretty well-known weapon, actually, in the Resistance series. I mean, it shoots kind of phased energy that's able to actually pass through walls. Which, well, at least according to the description in this game, the more objects it passes through, the more powerful the shot actually becomes. I don't know if that's really true or not. And then, of course, the alternate fire creates shields that protect you from gunfire. Well, for the most part, although it doesn't protect you from other auger fire, unfortunately. Like, the auger is still able to go through the shield of another augur. Granted, though, it is a little bit challenging to use the augur in this game anyway, because it's a little bit hard to target enemies through walls. Because the only way of seeing them through walls is just by an indicator. And that's also assuming if they're even close by. So, I mean, even though it is possible to shoot through walls with this gun, it's very difficult to do it here. Because, I mean, the aiming... I mean, it's just... The only indication is just if the reticle turns red through the wall. But, I mean... It doesn't really help too much. I mean, honestly, I think the augur is a lot better in the later games. Backlash grenades. Pretty much my favorite grenade in this game. And again, kind of weirdly, you have to go through the game once to do a New Game Plus to get these, but probably the best grenades ever. As they can actually deflect. Not only does it deflect gunfire, and even auger fire for that matter, it actually reflects it back towards the enemy. It's pretty useful also against some of the bigger enemies too. I think it's just kind of a shame though that this is the only game that even introduces the backlash grenade. Oof, boy. Hedgehog grenade traps. Close one. Oof. Oof. Another steelhead. Oof, wow.
Hell, mate, you alright? Get in here!
Captain Mitchell's squad had located the convoy. Unfortunately, stalker sightings in the area made immediate recovery impossible. The stalker is one of the Chimera's most feared weapons. They move quickly and fire anti-aircraft missiles with deadly accuracy. The technology used in the stalker remains one of the most intriguing and frustrating mysteries of the Chimera. Mitchell had been fighting a losing battle most of the morning, holding out until reinforcements arrived. Meanwhile, the Chimera kept coming. To everyone on the ground, it seemed the convoy was all but lost.
Outgunned. Finally going up against a stalker. Kind of another popular asset for resistance.
Looks like we found the fight!
This standoff won't last. We're taking a supply truck. Braddock, you've got right flank. Go!
Hurry!
I'm in position! Press forward! Bowling, take your squad to the center. Hold that ground! Yes, sir!
Oh.
Captain, be advised, we have a bandit closing on your position.
We can't wait, right, lads?
It's like the calm before the storm. Yep.
We've got a budget. It's laying an egg, Captain. Grab it and ring it, lads. Gilly, lay down suppressive fire on the left. Drive them to the right. We'll set them up. You knock them down.
Stalker!
That's the AA we're looking for. All forces get to cover. Give us some room.
A good one would probably be using the auger. So, I mean, really the key thing here is trying to shoot the weak spot on the Stalker, which is the core exposed in the back.
To command. Site secure. All stalkers down. You've got your convoy. How about getting us a sodding medic?
Parker here. We're inbound, Captain. 4 minutes out.
I picked up Hale after the mission. I had seen him approach the containment cell on the convoy. The cell had 14-inch lead walls, but even so, given Hale's condition, I didn't want him anywhere near it. With the stalkers gone, we were able to airlift the cell back to Northern Command. The exchange with the Americans would have to wait. We were about to execute a very risky offensive operation. The Chimera had been using a network of underground tunnels to attack undetected. The tunnels formed a nexus in Nottingham, and if we sealed them off, we would at least briefly have the upper hand.
Alright. Because technically we'll be leading into chapter 4. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to probably have to call the stream a little early, unfortunately. Probably stream a little bit longer, but I kind of ran into some little technical issues. So I had to delay the stream a little bit later than usual anyway. But not a bad start, I'll say that. I only died once so far, so it's not bad. But yeah, that being said though, hoping to pick up more this session probably the next couple of days. I mean, as I said, I'm trying to go through the main Resistance games anyway, 1, 2, and 3. And hopefully I can do that before the end of the year. That's kind of my goal anyway. But we'll see how that turns out. Yeah, alright. So, yeah, so probably in a couple of days, should be able to get back to this. Maybe even do a longer stream than usual. And, yeah, just go from there, I guess. Alright, guys, this is Delph Hunter XYZ, and until next time.